Hello, hello, and welcome, one and all. Are you the kind of person who finds themselves raging at the littlest things? You can't help but feel that there's a lot of injustice in the world, so you just have to let people know. And often, sometimes you feel that after you've reacted this way, perhaps you have a little bit of regret. You feel like you've pushed people away. So, what to do? Well, guess what? Today we're going to be doing kind of like a social experiment. I'm going to give you some tools, and if you'd like to join in, you can try them in your real life, see what happens, and then come back and tell me how it went. Hi, everybody. My name is Johanna Dinsdale from Multi-Therapy. I am a qualifying psychotherapist from Toronto, Canada. And on this channel, we cover all sorts of things. Relaxation techniques. We try to make it fun and interactive as possible. We have the best community on YouTube, fun fact, and we have a great time here. So welcome, Matt. Welcome, Adwaman. Oh my gosh, it's nice to see you again. It's been a minute, huh? How are things going for you? It must be pretty late for you, huh? What time is it over there? I'd love to hear. And if you guys kind of relate to this topic, feel free to let me know your experience. I'd love to get into things if that's something that you're interested in doing. So why I picked this topic was we had a poll the other day, and quite a few people selected this one. And I think rage is a very common thing. It comes with like a lot of shame, a lot of feeling out of control. So I think it is an important one to cover on this channel so everybody feels, covered when it comes to the topics. Oh my gosh, it's early morning, 6:30 a.m. Wow, that is quite early, Adwaman. Are you heading to work, I guess? Is that what's happening? Or are you just an early bird? You like to wake up early in the morning. I can't say that I'm an early bird. I am definitely a night owl, hence doing a late night stream. If you guys aren't aware, next week I'm going to be releasing on Monday the permanent schedule. So yay! I've done a lot of experimentation over the past 3 months to figure out what works best for me, what works best for you. So that's very exciting to finally have something in place so everybody knows what the heck is going on. Adwaman, you say, one thing you've noticed, a good sleep makes the mind peaceful and less irritated. I absolutely agree with that, Adwaman. I am very much the same. Sometimes you just feel that your emotional regulation goes down, and there's a lot of science that backs that up. A good night's sleep is very important. I do feel for like the parents that have, really young kids, the lack of sleep can get you, right? And then we find ourselves frustrated with our partner. So remembering that it's not you, it's the sleep. That's a really good point, Adwaman. Matt Frank, that's what it used to be for you before you switched the live stream time. Oh my gosh, yeah, it's the exact opposite now, hey Matt? That's funny. I'll give you a little spoiler. I'm probably going to do one morning live stream and one evening, just so the maximum amount of people can tune in, hopefully, because we have a lot of people from around the globe, which is super exciting. We got Austria, India, Philippines, Norway, all sorts of folks come in and join our conversation, which is super exciting. Yeah. Adwaman, you like waking up early in the morning? Oh, you're traveling for a relative's wedding, so no chance of rage. Okay. Sounds like you got a pretty solid family there. A wedding sounds a lot of fun, though for some people that can be quite stressful depending on their relationship with the family. Hi, Senki. Humans are supposed to have a full spectrum of emotions, so I don't think it's healthy to get rid of anger. Sanki, I totally agree with you. And you're right, it's a little bit of an eye-catching title there, but I agree you shouldn't try to repress any feelings because that's not great either. However, I think there is an opportunity to learn and grow with how you react to your rage, right? Because sometimes that rage can be quite destructive in your life. So that's why I put it out there that this might be something to help people who feel like they have that impulsive reaction to kind of crash out a little bit, how to reel it in and take one step at a time. Yeah, Matt Frank, you always wanted to go to Norway. I definitely want to as well. I hear that they have some of the most beautiful waterfalls, and I didn't realize how into waterfalls I was until my phone gave me this update of basically all the pictures of waterfalls that I had, and there were like 20. So that was pretty funny. I was like, oh, I guess I am really into waterfalls. I just didn't realize. All right, guys. So again, we're going to set kind of a respectful, curious tone here, exploring the range of rage and what we can do about it. So, for example, if you find that, this heat rises within you, you get so upset really quickly. It's almost like a volcano. I hear a lot of people describe it as like a volcano that erupts. It just all of a sudden, this huge wave of emotion and kind of heat almost, right, pours out of you. You really have to get it all out of you at once. And sometimes in therapy, we often use the technique of stillness and trying to find ways to kind of visualize and acknowledge the feelings, but also not letting them control your actions. That's the big thing, right? And if we kind of define rage, it's not just a feeling of angry, right? I'm talking about emotional hijacking, when you don't feel like you're in control anymore. It's intense, demanding, always points to a perceived loss of control, and is often caused by a boundary violation. So think back. I really encourage you guys to try it out yourselves. Think back to the last time that you really lost it. Maybe it was years and years ago. Maybe it was yesterday. Just hold that in your mind as I check out what's going on in the chat here. Sankey says, fair enough. I agree with that. That's great. Sankey asks, what makes me mad? Oh, that's a great question, Sankey. Personally, the thing that I was actually reflecting on this beforehand, and I think the thing that makes me the most angry is injustice. When you feel like you're trying to do everything right, but you still end up losing. That's always something that's one of my triggers, especially when it comes to work, when you really work hard to do something for somebody and then they just don't care or something along the lines of that. I guess that's not a great example of injustice. Or you think that you filled out all the paperwork and you go in and they turn you away for something ridiculous, right? Like that kind of thing really gets to me. Yeah. Adwoman, you get angry when you don't get what you deserve. For example, a bad behavior when I expect a better one. Yeah, absolutely. That would be pretty annoying too. Yeah, it's fun talking about this stuff. I get fired up too just thinking about it. Sankey, what makes you mad? You tell me. And yeah, if we talk about the science of hijacking when that rage comes to you, there's a lot of stuff going on in your brain, right? So the amygdala in your brain is what keeps you safe. It's like what sends you into those high reactive states because it's trying to protect you, right? Some people call it the brain's smoke detector. And it's kind of bypassing the prefrontal cortex, the logic center. So that's when you feel really, really emotional, often at times you can find yourself acting kind of irrationally. And when you look back on that behavior, you might feel a bit embarrassed because you acted in a way that's not like yourself, right? Because you're not consciously, logically thinking. And that's why when I do couples therapy, I often tell people, if you are really escalated in an argument, you don't want to have that conversation in that moment. Take some space. Really process those emotions, acknowledge them, do some self-care, whether that be going for a walk or hitting the gym really hard. Some people just need to do some deep breathing or whatnot. but lowering down that emotional escalation, you gain back that logical, rational part of your mind. So that's one of the steps. I'm getting ahead of myself here, of course, as usual. Error. I don't know any Erica. I think you might have me mixed up with somebody else. Adwaman, you lost it when one of your friends started becoming, I'm sorry to hear that, and saying all of my personal vulnerabilities and secrets to others while being intoxicated. Oh my gosh, Adwaman, that's actually really heartbreaking. That would be such a feeling of betrayal, huh? That would definitely make me mad too. Betrayal is absolutely one of those really harsh things that bring up rage, right? Because you didn't do anything to deserve that, as far as I'm aware, right? Sounds like they were just intoxicated and not thinking clearly. That's another like inhibition thing, right? Maybe they're not thinking rationally. I wonder how that ended for you, Adwaman. Are you still friends with them? Sinky, you get quiet when you get mad, which is probably not healthy either. Okay, yeah, in therapy we talk about different forms of communication. So one of them, it sounds like Sinky you'd probably relate to, is passive communication, where people try to avoid confrontation. And then on the other side of things, right, the exact opposite is aggressive communication. And what lies in the middle is assertive communication. And that's where you're able to talk calmly and state your boundaries and work together with that person to come up with a solution, right? It's being able to find the line in between, right? And of course, there's also passive aggressive, which is a mix of the two. That's quite popular. Adwaman, tolerating is bad. You need to get it out somewhere, otherwise your brain stops braining. Yeah, exactly. What do you use to kind of get that rage out? Sometimes for me, I really do need my space. I'll take my little doggy for a walk. We'll go for a walk and I'll just calm myself down there and just kind of process everything, right? Kind of mulling over things. I definitely don't love confrontation personally. But I've learned to become more assertive, and it's really helped with my relationships, right? Because I feel less resentful because I'm being honest about my experience. Okay, so let's see here. And for some of you, maybe rage isn't about the event itself. It might be about internal pressure too. So sometimes we find that we hold people to impossible standards. So for example, if you find yourself very disappointed about your parents all the time, it might be the fact that your standards for them are too high, right? You're not really, if you lower those expectations, you might find you have a better relationship with them because you're seeing them for the person that they truly are, right? Of course, we want the people that we love to change and become their best version of themselves. But sometimes that's not the case. They're not ready to change. So until they're ready to, what to do until then, right? Whenever you go to the clubs, sometimes you black out and get wild. So you have to hear about what you did the day after. Splitter splatter. Oh my gosh. How do you feel about that? Why do you feel the need to kind of, if you know that's going to happen, why do you feel the need to do that? What's the purpose if you can't remember all of that stuff? Just curious. Sometimes it's fun to just kind of explore those things, right? Sinky. Yeah, you just need alone time for a few hours and then you'll talk yourself out of it. Yeah, Sinky, if that's the case, I kind of encourage you to maybe, I wish I could send you a worksheet right now. I'm such a nerd when it comes to worksheets. I use them a lot in my therapy sessions as homework. Like we'll do the work in session and then I'll give them a little worksheet to look over. But there's this really great one about Assertiveness. It's by Algonquin College. You can look it up. It's like a free PDF. And it's basically how to have those tough conversations when it comes to any boundaries that were crossed. Matt, you get mad when clients cancel right before the session time. Okay, Matt, I get that, hey? Like, do you still get paid for it? Is it more you're mad because you don't get paid, or is it more mad because they wasted your time and you could have been working with somebody else? That's difficult either way. And I get that, yeah. I don't think I get too upset when people cancel because as a therapist, you're kind of used to it. Just a large range of different personalities and stuff. So, yeah. I just kind of go with the flow there. Adwa Man, you do push-ups and listen to punk music with high beat. Nice. That's awesome. That is a great coping mechanism. Locking in right there. Let me tell you, I got this little like stepper thing under my desk and I absolutely love it. That made a real big difference to my mental health too. Because I get out all my emotions. I am very like high energy. So if I'm sitting at the desk for a long time, I get like really fidgety and it almost turns into anxiety. So by just having like my little stepper thing that I use at my desk, perfect, golden. I feel so much better now. Splitter splatter. Oh my gosh. You like to party, huh? I've been there. Yep. Sometimes you just want to forget everything. I get that, but please do it safely and responsibly. That's all I have to say. Jazzy, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope your dog is okay. My dog also likes to eat them. Sankey, who do therapists go to when they need to talk to someone? That's also a great question. We go to other therapists. Yeah. So I actually have a supervisor. I'm still qualifying. So I have a supervisor I go to and we meet up twice a month for about 4 hours a month. And we just talk. And a lot of the time, it's not even about our clients per se. It's about just how you're doing, how you're managing things. And, you know, oftentimes therapists do need other therapists because we deal with a lot of heavy emotional things. And we're people too, right? We love to help others. And because we have that empathy, sometimes we need to, you know, talk it out with somebody else. And of course, a confidential situation. Matt Frank, my job won't pay you if you haven't already left the house. So if they cancel and I'm on the way, they won't pay me. Wow. That is unfortunate. Oh my gosh, Matt. I hope I guess it depends if it's like a big chain or something, but that doesn't seem right. I wonder if they keep the money too. I'm curious. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, Matt. I hope you can maybe look into things and kind of advocate for yourself because that really doesn't feel fair. And see, now I'm feeling rage for you because it's unjust. That's my trigger. Adwa Man. The real unhealthy thing is when you are angry on the wrong person who did not deserve that treatment. The guilt lingers. Yes, absolutely. That seems to be quite common, right? Like if we're very stressed out by work pressures or things that are happening in our life, yeah, we can just by accident take it out on somebody else, like a loved one. And that's always hard, right? It leaves the guilt. And yeah, I specifically covered that actually. You know me, I love my notes. And I did notes about, where is it? I've lost it. No. Oh, how to mend a rate. Like after, if you crash out, guys, and you want to mend that relationship, there are ways to do it, right? Yeah, splitter splatter. Therapists do talk to stronger therapists. They're like the ultimate therapist, absolutely. I'm just a baby therapist. I try my best. I have a great supervisor, which is wonderful. Usually they have like 15 years plus. Okay, so the cool down, right? You had the crash out. You go do some self-care to calm down. Now that we've calmed down and committed to self-regulation, it's time to use a technique to really calm yourself even further, right? So for example, you can use tactical breath, which is something that the military use when you're in like a high stress situation. It's about controlling the breath. There's several ways to do it. You can kind of experiment to see which one works best for you. There's inhale for 4 seconds and then exhale for 6. Some people like to do it called box breathing, where they inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4. So yeah, experiment. But it's all about deep breathing, helps regulate your nervous system and calms it down. It takes it out of that fight and flight situation back to normal functioning. Cold water on your face too, guys. If you're really, really escalated, splashing that on your face works, whether it be an anxiety attack or crashing out. This is a way to just shock the system. Again, it's all about the nervous system reacting, right? We get physically escalated too. You can feel like shaking, you might be sweating, you feel your face is getting red. You know, the body and the mind are attached. So if you can change the system physically, the mind follows. It's an interesting, fun thing that we figured out about ourselves. Let's see, just catching up here. It's a small local community center. You're bad at advocating. Okay, I'm sorry to hear that, Matt. Oh, but it sounds like a really fun job at the same time. I wonder how important this is to you as well. Sometimes it's good to check in and see how much this is bothering you, right? This boundary. Some people are okay with accepting that, and some people aren't, right? It's really eating away at them. And that's when you can kind of weigh out whether it's worth it to try to talk to this boss about that. Splitter splatter. Have you ever thought a client of yours is completely in the wrong? Do you have to agree with them all the time? Or can therapists tell somebody they're being wild? Great question. Basically, I love this question, actually. This is a really good one. And as a therapist, I am not here to tell you about my opinion, right? I'm not here to give you a moral lecture or an ethics lecture. Your views and your opinions on things might be completely different from my own. So yeah, sometimes a client might be doing something and I'm like, I disagree. But at the end of the day, as long as they're not like hurting anybody, right? Like there's the code of ethics. Obviously there's things I have to report, but otherwise it's like, I'm here to make sure that you are living your authentic self to the highest potential, right? People come in here and maybe, you know, they're just like examples, not of my own clients, but like perhaps somebody is cheating and wants to explore that, right? But they're not willing to leave their client, like their partner. So in that situations, I think a lot of people would struggle with that. As a therapist, again, like you have to be comfortable with saying this person is making their own choices. And again, it like depends on the situation too. If that other person has is not being safe about it, then we would have to have that talk of like, okay, you're putting this person in harm's way, so that is an issue, right? And then we go from there. But yeah, typically I would not tell somebody if they are being wild, and I disagree. Out of a man, for example, if your boss is angry and lectures you, that anger goes to your wifey/kids. This is wrong and makes me angry on myself. Out of a man, I think the fact that you are telling yourself that this isn't aligning with your values, that this is something that makes you guilty, that means that you're going to learn from that mistake in the past and that you want to grow as a person. And this kind of goes back to mending your relationship, healing that. So what you can do, right, once you're calm, is take accountability for your mistake. You can say you're truly sorry for the way that you acted, for losing control. You know, you can say that there's no excuse for yelling or perhaps slamming the door, maybe asking them how that made them feel, whoever you were, crashing out at. Taking responsibility for that is a great first step to healing that rupture that happened, because you want them to know that you do feel sorry. And again, sorry is not always enough. It's going to take them time to heal from that too, because I'm sure they're shaken up as well. And that's when you can set a new boundary too. So for example, my goal is to never speak to you that way again. And here's what I'm going to do in order to achieve that. And if you catch me doing this again, please let me know so I can pivot, right? I hope that's helpful. And I hope you're not too hard on yourself, because it sounds like you do want to be better and get better. Sinky, you were upset with your parents for a long time, but the older you got, the more you realize they're just people too. We all mess up sometimes. Forgiving them helps you heal. Wow, thank you for sharing, Sinky. That's really beautiful. Absolutely. It is like, I remember the exact moment when I figured that out. I'm like, oh, my parents are just people, right? Like, they're not perfect. They're flawed humans, and they were trying their best, the best that they could at the time. So again, everybody's story is different. Spitter spatter, rage bait your boss, act aloof on something you understand well in front of them. Make your boss crash out first and then sue them into bankruptcy. Well, that's one way to do it, splitter splatter. I don't know if I endorse it though. Adwa man, he's into that. He's into that idea. Yeah, we've all been there. Oh, to be human. What are you guys sending? What is that? Is that a wave? What is that picture? But I love that you guys are talking and supporting each other. Here, I want to join in. Let me send you some silly pictures of me. Heart, heart, heart. Yeah, if you guys become a member, you can use these really ridiculous emojis that I created. Hi, Beware. Nice to see you again. How are you doing? We're talking about raging. You just got an awesome job that pays you like $26 an hour. Nice. Good things come to people who apply to jobs they aren't even qualified there. Oh, splitters flatter. I am right with you there. I love applying to jobs. That was like my hobby. I became so many random things just by applying for them and showing up and acting confident. So that's what, yeah, I advocate for confidence. You know, you never know what you're capable of until you try, right? But yeah, everybody in the chat congratulate Splitter Splatter. Oh, that's cool that you could do that little meme face, Splitter Splatter. How did you do that? That's crazy. I'm a good therapist, calm, rational, level-headed, and easy to talk to. Thank you, Sankey. I appreciate that. I try my best. Beware, you're just doing all right. How am I? I'm good. We're having a lot of fun. We have a great group of people in the chat today. I've been having a really great time talking to you. Now I'm getting a bit shy because of all the compliments. Oh, thanks, guys. Okay, but as you know, I love to use fictional characters as examples when it comes to these things. So let's get a little nerdy here. Let's talk about Darth Vader, aka Anakin Skywalker. Apologies if that was a spoiler for anybody. But yeah, his whole character arc is basically unmanaged fear and rage, right? His inability to control his passion, or he feels like he can't control his life. His anger over perceived injustice really leads him to make these very, very destructive choices. You know, he sacrifices his love and purpose for destructive power. I thought he was a great example of somebody who did not learn from his rage. He's kind of like a good story to, what do you call it? It's like the kids' stories where you're saying, okay, kids, don't do this because this is what happens. You turn into Darth Vader. You like Darth Vader, Beware? Okay, Sankey, I appreciate that. You take care and have a good one. Bye. I'm talking about Darth Vader. He's the scary guy from Star Wars. Eat Star. Fear, love, and rage. Yes, Anakin Skywalker. Absolutely. Who else do I got here? The Hulk. The Hulk is a really good example of rage in cinema because he really talks about, or he has like uncontrollable rage response, right? Which is showing how anger is tied to his internal trauma and fear. And I think it's a really brilliant concept, right? Because he's like a crime fighter guy, and the more that he transforms into the Hulk, the more traumatized you get, the more difficult it is to control his rage and fear. So it's just like this horrible loop for poor Bruce Banner. Like this guy, yeah, he's just constantly attempting to manage his rage at things, but also at the same time, he's getting constantly thrown into these like rage baiting situations. So this poor guy has it cut out for him. I do feel for Bruce. What are your guys' favorite superheroes? I'd love to hear in the comments. Please tell me. Splitter Splatter, you do you. Emoji by typing awesome, but make sure both are touching. Okay, thank you for sharing. Awesome. That's what it's called. All right. Yeah. I used to have this guy in high school. He like, that was his whole personality, was that little face. So that gave me a bit of nostalgia. I haven't seen that thing in a long time. So thank you. Okay. Dennis, welcome. Good to see you again. What do you say here? It's funny. Oh, I missed it. Where to go? Anger leads to empathy erosion. Absolutely, yeah. It kind of eats you up inside, that's for sure. I'm definitely not the most angry person personally. I tend to be pretty good at letting things go, but when people really make me rage, I don't mind doing the calm confrontation. I think I'm pretty assertive. Yeah. Even in high school, there was only one person that really pissed me off. That's the only person that comes to mind. And yeah, anyways, we don't have to talk about that. Beware all. Heart to you too. Adwin man, sometimes talking to someone solve many issues. When you talk to some of your good friends, they act silly and calm you down. Oh, that's great. There's nothing like good friends to calm you down. Absolutely. Hulk smash. The biggest crash out you've seen in media is the man character from The Bear. It's just burgers. Okay, I haven't seen The Bear, but I've seen clips of it, and I do believe that. Actually, oh my gosh, Splitter Splatter, you remind me of my other example, which is Gordon Ramsay. Gordon Ramsay is a great example of somebody who is like really, woo. He uses rage to try to motivate people, and it really doesn't seem to work very well. Beware, you love the Joker. Matt, Frank, you love Batman. You like how mentally complex he is. That's a good choice. My favorite Spider-Man, I already told you, Matt, but he's great. I just like that he's kind of the underdog. And Adwin man, nope, I am a Sagittarius, actually. Yeah, so my birthday is around now-ish. Happy birthday to me. Splitter Splatter. You don't like the feeling of anger or wrath that makes you feel after the fact when I have to deal with the consequences of your actions. But it feels so good to do it in the moment, right? Yeah, absolutely. That's why people do it, right? It does feel really good to kind of snap every once in a while and let all those emotions out. But then it's the consequences after that are bad, right? So that's why it's okay to balance it out and control your actions so you don't have to repair and, again, like hurt people accidentally. Hey, Joe. How's it going? Jojo. Mojo Jojo. Good to see you. Yeah, Gordon Ramsay is great. Oh, thanks, Adva Man. Happy birthday. I appreciate that. Joe Potter. Hey, that's okay. It's all right to be late. I never expect anybody to show up. I'm just happy even a few people show up and chit chat with me, keep me company. So we're talking about rage and how to control it, what to do if it happens. We're talking about Gordon Ramsay, and I actually did a lot of research on Gordon Ramsay guy. I really wanted to talk about him specifically because it just kind of shows that his rage is, while it's quite entertaining to watch, I don't know if you guys enjoy it. I used to listen to Gordon Ramsay when I fell asleep for like a good year. I listen to a lot of things before going to sleep. Some people can't do it, but like I like to just shut my phone off and listen to like old shows. Gordon Ramsay being one of them, Hell's Kitchen. And while very entertaining, I did some research to see like how his rage actually helped people. Like, did it help people? Did it actually motivate them? And again, like he has a limited amount of time to work with these people. So a lot of it is like not just his fault. It's also the restaurant's fault. He's like trying to work with some of the worst restaurants in America or the UK. He did both. But when I looked it up, it said Kitchen Nightmares featured 77 restaurants in its 7 seasons. And of those restaurants, 47 closed, 23 of them within the first year of their episode airing. So again, like he tried his best, but obviously like it didn't work that well, unfortunately. But sometimes you can't, you know, if he's not there, sometimes it just falls apart, right? So not completely his fault, but just going to show that rage is not often a great way of motivating people. Yeah, the extreme anger. Joe, no, it's I don't like to say my specific birthday because of personal information on the internet, but yeah, it's around now. So thank you for saying happy birthday. Appreciate that. Not all rage is equal. Dennis, what do you mean by that? Tell me a bit more. Splitter Splatter. You heard this one verse from a song and it goes, I don't believe in a dream. I no longer live with a passion. I ask the Lord to forgive me for wasting all of my talents. And that made me feel seen. Wow, that's a really beautiful line. I really like that. What song is that from? Splitter Splatter, I'd love to know. Thanks, Matt. I appreciate that. Does anyone want to guess how old I am? I think, Matt, you know how old I am. I kind of forgot how old I was just now. I think I know the answer. Yeah, I think I know. I do know. Yes, I do. Okay, and then the other example, when I thought about Gordon Ramsay, I was thinking, okay, you know what? Another show that is like very similar to this show is The Biggest Loser. They also used a lot of like rage and motivation and like kind of bullying tactics, right? I watched an episode of this Netflix documentary. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It came out recently. It was quite popular. That interviewed the Biggest Loser contestants recently, like within the past few years, and their experience. So some people spoke highly of it, but most people did not. They interviewed one of the personal trainers and everything. Yeah, it was quite an interesting documentary if you guys want to watch it. But again, it was like they really pushed these people to the limit, right? Like using kind of anger and shame to fuel change. And again, like in the long term, it doesn't seem to work out very well. I don't have the numbers for this one. I kind of ran out of time to look that up. But on the show, from that show, it seemed like a lot of people just kind of returned to their old ways because it wasn't sustainable, right? You can't keep using, well, I guess you can, but you're not going to be very happy if you keep using extreme rage and public humiliation and pressure, right? It's kind of like a cooking pot. It's just not great for your mental health. Let me just catch up here, guys. That made you feel seen. That's great. Joe, Adwaman. Well, I've been accused of cheating. It's made you feel very angry and upset. It makes me feel like your woman is playing with my brain and making up lies. Oh, Joe, that's hard to hear. Oh, yeah, I remember you telling me about your situation a little bit. And I hope it's going well. And if that's the case, you know, setting up those boundaries, right? Trust in a relationship is so important. And how you can build that up is, yeah, just like through small acts of connection, turning towards each other instead of away when you're feeling fearful, when you're feeling insecure. It's like giving that partner an opportunity to comfort you, right? That's what you want out of a partner, right? Instead of kind of testing them, just saying, hey, I'm feeling really insecure right now. Can you comfort me, right? That kind of thing. Dennis, well, moralistic rage stemming from a moral wrong is pretty serious. Ooh, tell me more, Dennis. You're really hitting the nail on the head with your comments. So deep. Do you have an example? Oh, you don't know how old I am? I'm 32, guys. I just turned 32. Woohoo! Party, party. I didn't do much. I got a coffee machine for my birthday, so that was very exciting. And now I'm going to be awake forevermore. Yeah, Matt, the Biggest Loser was very problematic, absolutely. Splitter Splatter, whenever you watch The Hoarders, it makes you want to deep clean your entire house. Oh man, yeah, Hoarders is definitely a revealing show. I do really feel for these people because often, like, they have so much shame for their whole, like, their situation, right? And I do feel like it's a little, yeah, it's so hard, right? Because on one hand, by showing the hoarding tendencies, you're giving people the opportunity to understand it better, right? Like, it's kind of like anthropology. It's going into the situation and really deeply understanding it and getting that feedback from the people. Obviously, it's a little bit extreme. Reality TV shows are always, you got to take it with a grain of salt because they try to make it so extreme. But yeah, so they are very brave, but I feel like it is a little bit exploitative because often these people don't have another choice. Like, that's the only option in order to get this stuff out of their house. These shows, you could go on a soapbox forever about. Me too, Matt. Oh my gosh, there were so many. Secret Eaters. Oh. We need to talk about Secret Eaters one time. I was actually thinking about this, and I've been really like processing different strategies. I'm like trying to feel out like what I want to do with my channel, right? And I think the thing that I've discovered is a lot of people enjoy like the experimentation aspect of my videos, right? They like to try hypnosis. They like to try the therapy things. They want to feel like they're doing it themselves, right? So I think I'm going to be focusing my long form videos along those lines. What do you guys think? that's something you're interested in, yeah, let me know. And then, yeah, Matt, sorry, I got distracted. I want to do kind of like healthy eating week. I think that could be a lot of fun, specifically around weight loss, weight gain, all that stuff, and how to do it healthily, how to reconnect with our bodies. Because often the connection with food, how we think about food, how we interact with food, it fluctuates over the years. And sometimes it's nice to just take space and think about it and see, what am I going to do next? You know, like, how can I improve my relationship with food so that's more healthy? I'm sure Matt Frank, you guys, if you don't know, he's a personal trainer who's been featured on the channel. If you want to check out that video, go for it after this. It's great, very informative. Yeah, nutritionist, exactly. I've never talked to a nutritionist. Maybe I should. It would be interesting to talk about. I feel like I just pick things up as I go along, but who knows, right? It's always good to talk to a professional to see what's up. Splitter splatter. Imagine someone did something horrible to your kid. Yeah, Dennis, I could see that. Exactly. When it comes to those rageful things, sometimes there's situations where you're not going to hold back, right? Because it's so intense. And maybe you hate the person, right? Like, if somebody did that great injustice to you, sometimes there's no stopping it, right? Definitely. I think there is appropriate times to rage. Imagine, I can't be here for them. Sorry, I'm not sure what you mean, splitter splatter, by you can't be here for them. Be aware. Oh my gosh. Yeah, the war videos, you think that's what you said, necessary rage. Yeah, absolutely. If you're kind of defending your turf, I could completely understand using that rage to kind of push you through that, right? Definitely. Adwoman, Matt, out of 100, how much exercise, nutrition, rest, and recovery? Ooh, that's a great question. Matt, give us some nutrition information, please. Okay, while Matt is writing that up, let's just finish off my little spiel about rage, okay, guys? All right, so if you're interested in trying out some different things to help yourself with the rage, we kind of covered them already, but let's break it down. Step 1 is a physical interruption. So if you feel yourself starting to rise, that volcano starting to bubble up, you feel it in your chest or your jaw, you want to freeze, okay? Freeze, do not speak, do not react. If you can, remove yourself from that situation, okay? By freeze, I mean like freeze that conversation. And by stopping that physical fight or flight response, you're going to prevent that adrenaline from completing its circuit. Apologies. And ask, like, why are we not fighting right now? Okay. Doing the breathing exercises, relaxing that nervous system as we talked about. If you can't escape, sometimes just mentally doing a check-in, right? Saying, I'm currently feeling this. I recognize it, right? It's about understanding yourself and where you know you're going to take this, right? If you're starting to feel that bubbling of rage or injustice, it's an emotion. It's not an instruction. It does not have to be attached to your behavior when appropriate, right? That's how you use your assertive communication as opposed to aggressive. Let me tell you, assertive communication can get you a lot further in a lot of situations. So that's when either you can try saying, you know, this is making me feel really frustrated. How about we talk about this later? Like, if you have to tell them, that's okay. It's like, all right, I hear your feedback. I need a minute to think about it. Thanks. Right? You don't have to necessarily show that rage in the moment if you need to process it, especially when it comes to jobs and stuff. Like you have kind of a reputation on the line that you want to look after. A lot of people I work with want to have that control, right? Because they feel like it's holding them back from where they want to go in their career or their social life, right? You don't want to be losing friends all the time because you keep blowing up at them every time you feel that there's an injustice, right? But there is a way to acknowledge your emotion in that moment and speaking clearly and confidently about it. This allows you to choose to use a boundary as opposed to a reaction, right? And it's going to take some practice. It takes a lot of time to build up that skill, which is why if you can't do it yet, just take some space, cool off, and come back when you're ready. Let's see. Matt says nutrition is 70% of results. Ooh, Matt, I didn't know that. That's exciting. 70%, huh? I could see that, yeah. Adwoman, you see people doing exercises in the gym and then live just, creatine and supplements. Oh, hi, David. Welcome. How are you doing? Happy late birthday. Oh, David, thanks for remembering. That's very sweet. Be aware says confidence. Absolutely. Yeah, confidence. We all about that. Matt says, yeah, let's help for sure. Oh, those help for sure, but as the name would suggest, it supplements what you're doing, but everyone wants a quick fix or a secret, but there's no avoiding hard work. So true, guys. And the same thing goes for rage as we're talking about here. There's no quick fix to rage. It's all about slowing down, giving yourself the space and time to process your emotions, being gentle with yourself. It's not easy out there. There's a lot of things that can trigger you, figuring out what those are. Is it injustice? Is it snarkiness, sarcasm? Figure out what that is, especially if the same person keeps doing it over and over and over again. Don't let that person have power over you, right? For whatever reason, maybe they're doing it by accident or on purpose, but I'm sure if you're like me, you don't want your life to be a roller coaster of emotions all the time. And again, if this is something that you're really struggling with, please get professional help. There's a ton of great therapists out there who can help you specifically work on the things that you want to build up that skill. This is just like an informational, fun chit-chat community. It's not true therapy. So please, if you need help, talk to a therapist or a mental health professional. Oh, David, you gotta go already? Okay, David, take care. I'm glad you popped in. That was nice seeing you. Splatter, splatter. Everyone's saying bye to David. Bye, David. Dennis, your fuse is pretty long. A little patience left for those who push and poke intentionally. Yeah, absolutely. It's something else when you know somebody's trying to piss you off, right? But I personally get a kick out of knowing someone's trying to piss me off and then not giving them the satisfaction. There's something so sweet about that. Yeah, siblings trying to piss me off. Yeah, just keep calm and carry on. Again, it takes a lot of practice. And what I do if I'm feeling that rage boiling up, someone's poking and prodding, trying to get a reaction, just a deep breath. And I typically redirect it at them. And I use this technique in couples counseling a lot too, where it's called gentle curiosity. It's a great way of figuring out where somebody's coming from and kind of disarming them from their coping mechanisms like defensiveness, accusations. It's saying, oh, okay, I see that, oh, I'm curious. Like, why did you say that? Tell me more about that. Where are you coming from by saying that, right? It's really putting the ball in their court where they have to explain what they just said to you. It's like, oh, why are we talking about this? This is an interesting topic. You know, why are we talking politics at Christmas? Tell me a bit more about that. How about we focus on Christmas things, right? It's like just like a gentle redirect. Be kind, but take no disrespect. Absolutely. Boundaries are so important, guys. Like, if you don't know what your boundaries are, rage is a good way of knowing what those are. Okay, it really is. It's basically a sign that a boundary has been crossed for you in some form. So note that down. Think about the past few times you got angry, what happened, and maybe trying to figure out what that boundary was. You know, did somebody say something rude to you? Did somebody take advantage of you? What is that? And once you have that boundary there, if it happens again, trying to figure out a way to gently communicate your boundary and working together with that person to find the balance. So again, to summarize it, if you do want to try out the rage protocol, freeze, see how that felt. Did it feel awkward? What was that like? 2, deep breathing. Were you able to lower that rage down a little bit by kind of soothing the nervous system? And 3, figuring out the boundary. What was it? What did you choose instead of the usual crash out, as we call it, as the youth call it? Adwoman, for you, the boundary is disrespecting your family. You can't tolerate that. That's a good one. I got the same boundary, let me tell you. Can't handle that, that's for sure. Did I miss any comments here? You have an intense poker face, so they really don't get the rise that they want. Matt, yes, the poker face. I got one too. It's so good. I used to not have one, but once you practice the poker face and really get good at it, oh my gosh, let me tell you, it's so satisfying to just like watch somebody try to get a rise out of you and you're just like, okay. Siblings, that's all I'm thinking of. They love to annoy me. Okay, so I guess final thoughts here, guys. Thank you again for everybody who tuned in and enjoyed the chat. You are capable of handling intense emotions, okay? Your greatest strength is not in fighting. It's your quiet, powerful choice in how to behave next. Having that power of the actions that you choose are gonna help you live aligned with your boundaries, right? By blowing up, it's causing more of a rupture. By stating what you need or not reacting to it too, giving yourself time to analyze it, you're giving yourself power. You have the power over this interaction now, as opposed to them kind of triggering you and then being the victim, right? Often that's the situation too. They might be trying to trigger you, so don't let it happen, guys. Follow the steps that I gave and let me know if it worked for you. Just remembering that anger is information, okay? Your reaction is your choice. Last thoughts from you guys. Your Adwaman's boundary is disrespecting your family. Oh yeah, I said that. Adwaman, you're welcome. Thank you for tuning in again. Even at 6:30, you're a real MVP for doing that. Splitter Splatter, thank you again. You've been a great help. No problem. Please stay tuned for the updates, guys. Again, there's the membership if you want to join. Be aware and care. You're awesome. Thank you for tuning in too. And Matt for moderating. I really appreciate that. And again, guys, keep an eye out for my schedule. I can't wait to have things more organized and giving you some more amazing content. Feel free to leave any suggestions. Like this video if you liked it, and take care. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.